posts went up. Those posts went up because as a property owner, you're responsible for your sidewalk. The people were walking there, back then it was Wenzel's Market, and they were coming down off, and the tractor trailers were coming through town, and they ran up over everything, were busting the sidewalk up all the time. Therefore, the posts were put in on, the state said, well, you're responsible for your sidewalk, you're responsible from the curb back. So the posts went in to protect the sidewalk. That's why they originally went in. This problem is not something new today or yesterday. It's been going on long before any of this ever happened. That problem has been there. The parking has always been the same. The difference may be the amount of traffic, as Kelly said, with all the stuff coming through, but in all the time that it's been there, it has always been the same. And so now all of a sudden it becomes a big issue. I'm sorry, but you need to consider that because it's been a long time that it's gotten by that way. And if people use a little common sense, I don't think there would be any issue now.
Charlie?
Last question. Was one call contacted to put those posts in? They should have been.
Oh, that's what I did. I don't
Was
know.
one call contacted?
No.
I know, there was no painting on the street.
There's gas lines right there.
There's gas lines and water lines there to
And water
residences.
Ed?
I'd like to just suggest that, it's been a bad summer, but they will eventually stop painting the bridges on the highway, and a lot of this will be alleviated if everybody just chill the heck out for a little while. I don't think we need additional no parking signs.
There is an exceptional amount
Yeah.
of traffic right now.
I really think,
There is.
just calm down. You know, I don't know why we gotta rush and put signs up. Calm down, summer's coming to an end, they're gonna quit working on the highway, and a lot of this will take care of itself.
Bob?
In the minutes here that you, I take it, have approved already, it says that the board approved a motion for the road department and police department to investigate the need. I don't quite remember it that way. I thought that you made a motion that it was to be changed. So if you had they asked a question over here as to why it was done. Why didn't you just say that you made a motion and that it was investigated and it was done? Rather than let everybody sit here for 5 minutes and talk. I won't take any more of your time.
Anybody else?
Dave, before you approve that,
Sure.
on the back, the October 3rd special meeting minutes, the first line, should be changed to read the October 3rd meeting. The very-
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Process happened, third on top there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let me bring it to. What happened when you copy and paste? Yeah. Make it consistent.
Any other comments? We have a second for the approval.
Oh, yeah.
Approval minutes.
Yeah. Motion to approve the minutes with the correction that Kathy so noted.
Second. How you vote?
Ms. Feely?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Prescott?
Yeah. Okay, motion approved minutes for September 13th regular meeting and October 2nd special meeting and October 3rd special meeting. Oh, we already
Yeah, we
did.
did that. I'm done.
Announcement, township has received $5,000 from Range Resources for a previous negotiated master bond agreement.
Yeah, Gary alluded to that. We do have that fund. But they're not available for general expenses.
Any additions to the agenda?
Not this time.
Financial report, motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
How you vote?
Really?
Yes.
Vote yes, Mr. Prescott.
Yes.
Motion to set a date for the budget workshop and advertise the same.
That is October 18th, well,
We're opening the bids the 17th for the.
okay, we'll make it the 17th then.
Well, no. We're gonna open bids on the 17th.
You wanna make the budget workshop the 17th following that?
Yeah, we could.
Work for me.
Following the bid opening. Or bid awarding, I guess. That's the opening for the roof, is that what that's for?
Yeah, you open.
Okay,
We'll open the 17th, approving the
okay.
18th, I think. Is that a motion on your part?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we set the budget workshop for the 17th, 6 PM, following the bid opening, or bid opening for the gym roof, I guess.
Second.
Only question I have, did you want to invite the candidates?
Yeah, the budget for next year, since it's gonna be administrated by a new board, I think we should officially invite them to put the budget together. They can come to the meeting, we'll provide the materials. And, in fact, there's a few copies of the, couple copies of last year's audit. Welcome to have, we'll make more copies if you need it. And, we'll send letters to those candidates, invite them, if that's okay, everybody here.
Fine.
And they use us adopting a budget and then it being opened in January again, it might well be the budget that they need to function with.
How you vote?
Mr. Ely,
Yes.
how about yes, Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Motion to make the following expenditures and account transfer as per the following schedule.
Okay, you'll see, a number of expenses to come out of Act 13. And there is one expense to reimburse the general fund, $3,761.63. That's expenses related to the development of the zoning ordinance. The total of those disbursements will be $83,682.60. You'll see that there, for a number of items, including the new township garage, gym roof replacement project, the new excavator, of course, the reimbursed general fund, and the last two are Tunnel Street sewage pump project, which were the emergency repairs. Down below, sewer and water transfers, general fund, these are expenses that have been paid out of the general fund, but they are expenses that are related to water and sewer, and we do these every quarter. Elmer Shaner and Rich Lowe, and road department wages that have been attributed to sewer work, water and sewer work, plus the diesel for the pump station. And $3,977.36. I'll move that we make those expenditures and transfers.
Second.
How you vote?
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Vote yes. Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Old business, previously tabled items from September 13, 2017 meeting, a proposed ordinance had been drafted and advertised to create a zoning hearing board for Donegal Township. Donegal Township is advertised for citizens wishing to serve on the zoning hearing board. The township is advertised for applicants for the position of the zoning officer.
Motion to table again, A, B, and C above.
Second.
How you vote?
You should have public comment if there was anything on the agenda on that item.
Any questions on that? How you vote?
Mr. Ely,
Yes.
yes, Mr. Prescott,
Yes.
and carried.
The board directed at the September 13, 2017 meeting that the police department and road department meet and suggest any need for changes in the parking on Main Street and Liberty. Any ideas?
Dave, I hate to interrupt, but I was just thinking about what the lady said over here about going down. You know, I go through town all the time with my gooseneck, and Ed does too. What if you directed the truck traffic, I mean, I know there's already signs up there, you know, limiting the length of the trailers, but the local deliveries are exempt, including me and anybody that's running cattle. If you put a sign up and directed those traffic down over the street and up by Schwartz's, the only issue when you get up there with the gooseneck is the pole up there at the top of the hill. If you cut the corner off of that, you could make that swing with the gooseneck. I don't have any problem coming through town when there's traffic, it's just the traffic that you meet. But I've been running that trying to avoid going, you know, coming through Main Street just to avoid running into other cars that can't get by me.
Yeah.
I mean, if we put some kind of signs up that if you have a trailer for local delivery, if you please use this route, it might, you know, and especially if we talk to John, I'm sure we could eliminate that pole up there. You know, they're pretty easy going. Just a thought, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
It's so short and steep, you're talking about going up, that's where it's,
Yeah, I don't have any trouble pulling, we'll pull over. I've been using that route instead of, just a thought.
Any ideas?
Yeah, a couple questions. This meeting between the police and the road department take place?
Actually, sir, the way I recall it, it was that Ed and I would go talk to the residents up
Did
there.
that happen?
In addition to that, well, he did as a matter of course, yes, sir. In addition to that, we had contacted the solicitor, well, the solicitor was gonna look into, Michael was gonna look into the legality of posting it and what had to be done insofar as the state, because it was a state route. I contacted him the day the complaints started coming about the signs to see if he'd made any progress with it. He said he had not, but that he would get into it, he would report back to you guys. I haven't heard from him. so-
I was under the impression after the last meeting that you guys were gonna talk, because that's one of the questions that I had when I think I asked you that question, and I asked Ed that question to the
Well, we have
township
discussed it a number
township
of times.
secretary.
We have discussed it a number of times, sir, but the
And,
actual suggestion was that Ed and I go talk to the residents, see if there were alternatives for parking, and get some input on it while we were waiting for the solicitor to find out.
One
what
of the
we were-
things that in regards to ideas that I had, and I relayed those to Charlie because he and I talked, he called my house that evening, and then I called him back and we talked about it. And, which probably, you probably know, that is a state road, a section from Maple to Maine. And, but the township can regulate parking as long as the state doesn't supersede us, and they can do that. Because we had asked them about putting a stop sign up on Main Street, and they told us no. They told us to take ours down, and we didn't do it. But it's a dangerous intersection, it's been a dangerous intersection as long as I've lived there, and it's been 17 years, not nearly as long as Scott. I know his entire life he's been very close to that. But I've seen school buses that can't make that corner, and it's not because of the signs, it's because people don't obey what signs that are there. That parking on that corner needs to be held back, and there's a driveway there. I don't know if the folks that are here that own the house, they park in front of their driveway and encroach on that distance from the corner. On the other end, towards Scott's house, right below his driveway, there was a sign there, and it'd come up taken down a while back. But I think that they need to reduce one space from that corner, and I told Charlie this, one space from the other end. I think we'll make that a lot safer through there, and you still are not gonna have a large amount of room for traffic, But that kind of thing happens when you take a residence and put 6 people in it. Okay, 6 adults, that is basically a tenement house. Okay, that's why you have zoning regulations, so you don't put that many people into a house if you don't have parking for it. And Charlie, I'm sure you and Scott, when you guys were on council, and you were the mayor, you dealt with issues all the time regarding.
But the whole thing is, the house that they did that with, at that time, had all the parking in the world.
Well, they
and
had
so-
parking behind.
No, they had the parking because they owned the building next to them. So
Yeah.
they had the parking all around. Whenever they sold that building, that's whenever they lost that
Right.
parking. So that's how that all came down. But it all happens. I understand what you're saying. And you're right. I think that you lose one on each end, and
I think that solves it. And
The
like
other
you said,
thing-
and like,
make sure you
Shingle
write
said,
tickets if they're bad.
You know, if we bide our time, it's gonna get a lot better soon.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna work all winter, I think, on these bridges. But
The other thing is, nobody ever talked to Scott, Angela, nobody talked to me, nobody talked to Kelly.
I
and-
went
and-
to
Nobody
the
and-
came
doctor's
around.
appointment
And
nobody talked to my mother. I mean-
There was no
Well,
parking.
I can tell you this, and nobody talked
My
to me
Aunt
either.
Ruth, I mean,
Okay, and it was news to me when I started getting when Charlie told me, I didn't know anything about it. And then that was the first thing I did, I called Township Building and said, did the meeting take place already between the 2 guys? No, so then take the sign down, but that didn't happen. So, but I recommend that we take the sign from each driveway, each end of it, and let it be what it is.
I think, I was gonna say, I think you have no parking here at corner sign
Yeah,
already up there.
What I'm saying, I don't know it's in the right place.
Behind me, there
Yeah.
is a small area where you could probably park a compact car that would be parked legally, but not that big
Yeah,
Dodge.
I've seen school buses try to make that corner and have a very difficult time.
And where I'm at, the note where it says no parking beyond here, there's enough space from where I park my car to the end of the road to turn to Maple for 2 cars to park.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
and the board
fine.
we've never discussed, we had a motion on the floor at the last meeting to take the parking off. We rescinded that motion and made a motion for the 2 departments to get together and talk about it. We never directed, and there was never anybody ever suggested taking parking off in front of your house. So I don't know who told you that. It wasn't anybody from up here. Okay?
No, it wasn't one of you.
Yeah.
Agreed, but nobody ever expected to see all those signs go up
And
either.
don't you think we didn't, nobody
You know.
here expected it either.
My understanding,
But
somebody
it did,
just
and they're there.
took it upon
Yeah.
themselves to put these
regardless-
signs up
Regardless, they're there,
without
but let's moving this
anybody's
along.
here.
Go ahead.
Well, it's gonna have a negative impact on people if you do ban parking on that street. There are
Well,
people that are
I
not
don't think
gonna
there's any
have
motion
access
up
to
there to
their
do that,
home.
ma'am. I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring to people's attention, and especially Charlie there, it's not just about the cattle trailers. When you go up there and you make that left turn and you start out through there and you cannot pull over to the right side, and it's a 2-lane road to begin with, and I'm in the wrong lane and a car comes around and hits me, whose fault is it?
You know what, if people just drive courteously,
They don't have
I've
it.
seen
don't
two
have
vehicles.
Right, you're right. People don't drive that way, you're absolutely
And it's
correct.
getting worse every day.
But the problem is, putting no parking there is not going to help that.
What would you do if you drove off Highland Avenue right now with your trailer? You'd have the same
I said
situation.
not even a trailer. If you go out Highland, there's a space. When you go up through there, they can park solid up along there, and there's no place to get in.
Sometimes. If you're gonna ban it all, you gotta ban it all. You gotta take Highland, the churches,
Then we gotta
everybody.
build a parking garage somewhere.
Yeah, we need a parking garage. And get some money somewhere to build a parking garage, maybe we get a grant.
All right, I'm gonna move that a parking space be moved, at least one lane from the Gray's cement driveway. And one additional space from the corner.
Okay.
And if it requires an ordinance, then we need to do it.
Okay, hold it, Doug.
I just made a motion.
I have a question for you though,
Okay, go ahead.
because you're saying from the driveway, are you talking from at my mom's house
Yes.
down? Okay,
Yeah.
there is no parking there, that is all no parking around that bend.
Right
But
now.
but that sign, it was
It-
gone for a while.
But it's been.
It's been there for as long, I've trimmed around it for as long as I can
Well,
remember.
as long as there's one space below that concrete driveway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there's
already
one-
there.
there's one there
There's no
already.
parking between signs around that whole bend.
Because I know when they don't obey that, it makes it tight.
Oh,
in there.
absolutely.
I've seen it.
Exactly.
Right.
I've thought about the idiots. You know how many times my cars have been hit there? And I'm looking at people parking illegally and not
The
having
only
it.
time I've ever had a vehicle get hit there was a drunk driver.
We need the ordinance for that.
I think it's wherever signs are so erected, you can't park, where our official signs. Okay, we can come back and tell us.
So, the conversation at the last meeting was the legality of the township erecting signs. And nobody knew whether it was required for erecting no parking signs or establishing no parking areas or not. It was discussed that the township does have the right to regulate the parking in the township, that it is a state route, and that we might have to have an engineering study before we do it.
It's not required, it's in the DOT regulations.
But these are things that came up at the last meeting. And that's what we're waiting for the opinion from the
Well, he
solicitor.
just said he's gonna look it up.
Okay.
So I got a motion on the floor to make sure there's one space back from the raised driveway and one space from, additional space from the corner of Main and Liberty. We'll try that, if it doesn't work, then we can do something different.
What about the no parking signs there
The ones that are currently up there,
that we have
we
put up there?
remove
We're
those,
gonna take them out.
remove those all.
Okay, now second your motion.
Bang over them like a parade day.
Almost did. Almost did.
Someone removed one already.
Oh, my!
And laid it down, but I noticed it's back again, so.
Okay,
I vote yes.
Mr. Ely, yes, I vote yes. Mr. Prescott, yes. And Gary, you're going to get to us regarding whether or not an ordinance is required.
And we're going to tell the road department to take those other signs down.
Yep.
Paving on West Alexander Loop, HUD project has been completed per the bid specifications. There is a significant berm drop-offs due to the height of the new pavement, and additional work is needed to complete the project. We talked about that a little bit.
Ed, do you have a price on total cost of that project? Or is it something, or some, is there some places that's worse than others?
Yeah, the hill coming down on the left side, as you go down and up the loop, the left side of that is bad.
Okay,
And when you come around and come down on the right side.
you wanna calculate some costs?
That's what I've been working on, and I'm trying to get pricing and trying to figure out different options of what we can do there. If you put rock in there, and we get some of the rains like we had this summer, this spring, it's gonna be all down at the bottom. There's gotta be another way that.
You can get us some costs for next time we meet.
That's what I was wondering about. You know, like on Grimes, when they paved that, they did the berms with that crushed stone.
Yeah.
If you dug your ditches or cleaned them out deep and allowed for some of that to settle in there, you know what I mean, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, because that's what we got now, we got a big deep rut, and the water, the amount of water that comes off of that hill and the force that it has, it just keeps eroding and eroding. So we gotta put something there. I was actually looking at maybe even taking culvert pipe and splitting them in half
Yeah.
and laying them down in there and binding them in with stone, so that when that water comes off, it hits that pipe and goes down the hill and doesn't cause any erosion. But the thing is trying to hold the depth so that if a car falls off, you're not dragging your bottom, you know what I mean? So, and we got some pretty deep ruts going up over there.
Okay, so you wanna give us some prices by next time we meet? We got the 17th. We advertise that meeting for general purposes as well.
I may get ahold of the conservation, because I've been going through their books and stuff, trying to get different ideas and have them come out and look at it and see what they, because the under drain that the engineer, Nathan's engineer came up with, an under drain is for wet ditch banks and stuff, to collect spring water to keep it from seeping out on the road. It's not gonna get the runoff, it's gonna do the same thing, it's gonna hit that stone and wash it to the bottom.
Question I have is one of the things you brought up earlier, was we have a driveway pipe that's plugged up, that we need to get repaired. It's not our driveway, it's in our ditch. Do we repair it? Or do we do, it's putting water out across the road, correct?
It's crushed, yes, and the water can't get through the pipe.
The hill's very, very steep.
You have to go on the private property and make the repair?
Well, the repair is in our right of way, in our ditch. It's a driveway crossing,
But it's in our right of way.
yes.
We can make that repair.
We make the repair, send a bill to the property owner.
Did they cause the problem?
I don't know, it's their pipe though.
Driveway pipes are the people that own the driveway, they're not township responsibility.
Well, should you contact the property owner first? Let them know that there's a problem, see if they would do anything?
Can we
They
do
have
that?
been contacted.
And what have they said?
Says, I had a phone call, this is to the property owner. I had a phone call from Ed Crash, our road department leader, and he asked me to contact you about the pipe entrance to your campground on West Alexander Loop. The pipe is in need of repairs and maintenance. Could you address the problem? If you have any questions, call Ed. He emailed back to Sharon, can you kindly have Mr. Crashar provide a written notice describing the alleged problem in detail with a citation to any acceptable ordinance and including a description of what must be done to bring the alleged problem into compliance with any acceptable provisions of any ordinance or other law.
I would refer this to your engineer and ask him to give you a written report and recommendation.
Okay. We need a motion to refer to the engineer. Did Nathan Boytek not address that in that report?
Pardon?
Was that not part of what Nathan Boytek addressed?
Yes, their engineer addressed it in this report here.
Yeah, that's it's already in the report by another engineer, the county engineer. Yeah, but
Did paving the road, is that what crushed the pipe?
No, it was campers pulling in, the pipe on the lower end is too short, and they make that turn, they run over the end of the pipe and got it back.
So why didn't we address it before we paved the road then? And that made more sense.
I did, and that's the letter I got back.
I believe you read an email from Nathan Wojtek. I don't think
yes,
that we've seen a report from the county engineer on this subject. And that's why Michael's opinion was we need to have our township engineer go out because redevelopment believed it to be a township/private landowner
Okay.
issue.
This is from Nathan's office, but it was done by Sarah Boyce.
Well, I'd still like to have our engineer, this is the county engineer, let's let the township engineer.
I move that we refer this to Senate Engineering.
Second. Any questions?
Mr. Haley?
Yes.
Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
I vote yes.
New business. The planning commission recommended the supervisor to approve the Boone subdivision pending the additional of wording regarding that it is a non-building lot and a 10-acre exemption is not needed at this time. Motion to approve the Boone subdivision, subject to the change in the wording regarding the subdivision being a non-building lot.
Myself move.
Second.
I have a question. Have you seen the corrections?
We can't sign it until they have that correction with it.
Oh, okay, you don't
Yeah.
have it there to sign, okay.
No. No. No, I don't see it here. Oh, maybe it is here. There's no plans to build on their sheet. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's a correct map. No, this is the old one. It'll have to go back to the county if they change that wording, probably.
Yeah, the engineer was supposed, or the surveyor was supposed to correct that.
Yeah, well, I think this is the old one, so we can't find this one, I don't see that change on there. But when that change comes in, we'll probably get sent it back to the planning commission, make sure that the wording suits them.
You need a motion to table the approval and cite the reason.
Okay, I withdraw my motion. a motion to table the Boone subdivision, subject to receiving change in wording regarding the subdivision name on building lot.
Any questions?
Mr. Feely,
Yes.
vote yes. And Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Back around, William Archer has applied for road permits for logging and operation to be conducted on Shaler Road. Motion to approve William Archer's road permit request for logging operation to be done on Shaler.
Okay, we have it here, $250 check and a escrow account for the hauling for $3,000 from William R. Archie Logging. I move that we grant that approval.
Second.
How you vote?
Feely,
Yes.
I vote yes. And Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Comcast has requested the township grant easements for lines near 2727 Old National Pike, Claysville, the township garage property.
Ed, did you look at this map from Comcast? Looks like they're gonna wanna run the line down along the cornfield, what used to be the cornfield of the Wilhelm property. See, it shows it going right down.
They're all 70,
No,
oh, they're going up the road.
this is their building, this is is that along 70? Am I looking at it wrong? That's 70 here. This would be up from Old National Pike, right? This would be the, right along, down here, yeah.
What are they doing, what are they gonna do, set poles or something? 'Cause we have a proposed building site right here. So I would say
That's
that.
clear over here, though. The line's over here, next to that driveway. And there's our driveway down here.
I don't know how far over there we actually are.
I don't either.